Lost light. I've been meaning to make a YouTube channel for quite some time, and ego reasons aside, because it's always a factor, I feel like there's something that needs to be said. And it may not be original, but I've helped myself come from a place where I definitely wasn't happy with. And even though I've got a very long way to go, I feel like there's definitely a call to action for a lot of people, especially young men. There are a whole bunch of problems that people are talking about that are unique to this century, whether it be political, environmental, social. I feel like all these problems are a manifestation of one greater problem. And right now, I don't know what that is. And I'm not going to pretend I know because I'm young and I'm dumb, you know? So I think the only solution to that is to take individual responsibility. And what does that mean? A lot of young guys escape through video games, porn, TikTok, online streaming services, the vast plethora of dopamine boosting activities that the modern world gives you. And these are fun, and I get why people use them. People are very rattled nowadays and scattered. And, you know, I'm ADD as hell, and I've always felt that my attention span is shorter than everyone else's. But even now, when I talk to people, it seems that everything's here and there. And they're watching Netflix and they're on their phone at the same time and they're eating, and nothing feels like a ritual. And no, I'm not religious, and I don't necessarily stand for traditional views that much, although I'm not sure. I feel like what is meaningful to humans is what is singularly what they're doing at that moment. And there's a lot less of the divine in every action that people are taking nowadays. Everything's so transactional. Even sex is transactional. Online dating, as good as the fruits of that could be. Online dating, OnlyFans, and people are learning to sell their bodies for $9.99 a month or however much it is. Nothing's important, nothing's sacred. And if we take all these problems, you can boil it down to the individual. And I don't really know anyone else, and you can't really know anyone else truly, but I know myself. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people my age and younger have the same kind of issues, where the modern world feels so mundane and boring compared to what we see being played to us. Take video games, for example. I mean, they're really fun. You know, you can walk into a village and you have a sword on your back and you take it off. It's like Skyrim, you have these little quests. But these things are designed to be as addictive as possible. And I get why people want to forget the world and they want to leave all their troubles aside and just zone out in what's fun. There are no dragons for us to slay. There's no beast to throw a spear at. Life feels very mundane. It feels like waking up in the morning, you go straight to work, and you know, most people are overworked, and they come back and what do? It's scrolling on their phone. It's one screen to another. It's one room to another. I don't quite know what the answer to that is, because it's only going to get more and more advanced in that regard. There's only going to be more and more ways to zone out. I think the only answer to that is to cut down, trim the fat. Jordan Peterson says, cleaning your room, for instance, working out, getting your body as physically capable as possible. And if you can't control your own body, what can you control? If you can't control your own space, your temple, what can you do? I don't necessarily know what I wanted to say exactly in this video. I think I just wanted to have a general statement of what I feel right now. And there's a lot of inconsistencies, especially when it comes to things like self-help. In the New Age movement, you have like the idea of letting go and manifesting and the law of attraction kind of thing. But then as a overreaction to modernity, we have things like red pill and the productivity side of it, where it's like 6 a.m, workout, deep work all day, otherwise you're a failure. And I think that's an overreaction. Watching videos lately about people saying that, you know, YouTube is all bad, don't watch YouTube. You should never eat fast food. You should never go on social media. And I think I get why, and I respect why they do that, because these things are toxic in the quantities that the average person takes it in nowadays. But it's not the thing itself that's the issue. If any of you watch South Park, there's an episode where Randy becomes an alcoholic. Well, he's already an alcoholic, and he gets done for drink driving, and he gets forced to go to AA, and he he quits because there's some religious miracle that happens, but then when that religious miracle turns out to be a scam, he goes back to being an alcoholic. And the moral of that episode is that it's never the moral or the system that's placed on you, it's always your individual action. It's not the thing itself. You should be able to go on YouTube and get as much as possible. You should be able to eat fast food and keep in control. Otherwise, if you spend your whole life avoiding these things, then what's the point? And the modern world has a lot of things. And I think what we've done is reduce them down to good or bad. I don't think anything's inherently bad. There's a lot to be distracted by, and I don't blame anyone for falling into a rut where they're just kind of scattered and they're going to different things and they're occupied by certain activities. I don't blame anyone for doing that. I'm kind of like that. But I feel like the society does not support anyone following their own self-actualization. So this is the point. Let's take this analogy where life's a video game and think about what our main mission would be. And it's this. What is the ideal form of being that we can reach? How do we maximize all our stats? How do we fully optimize who we are? Everything we want. I think that is the main mission. If you don't have that, if you don't have a sense of what your main fully maximized ideal is, then you're going to be lost and you're going to be stuck in the honey trap. I think the hard thing is taking that. The hard thing for a start is knowing what that necessarily is, because a lot of people don't. But say you do. Say you could describe what your ideal life and what your ideal mode of being is. The next step is to break that down into practical steps. How do I act on a day-to-day basis to manifest my ultimate form of being in the future? That's a hard thing. But a good start is to control what you can control. You can control your body. You can control when you wake up to a certain point. Just fully attaining your dreams is too vague to start on. But you can start on things that you know will help you attain those things. It's like an XP booster, getting a sleep schedule right. Learning to focus more, meditating. These things will glue everything else together and make it more stable. Another thing I wanted to talk about is why we peak and crash. I mean, I particularly, but it seems to be a common thing with the people around me at least, where people become excited by certain things. If you think of like a sound wave, they peak with excitement and everything's optimistic and they message all their friends and they make all these plans and they post on social media and then afterwards they just dip. It's like a manic depressive cycle. And I've noticed that in myself, even on a day-to-day basis where I'm really excited for 10 minutes and then even like 20 minutes later, I feel like I was chasing something stupid and now I feel like it's this restless feeling that kind of defines our age. It's this restless, scattered feeling where we feel like we want to reach something. Something has to be reached. We can't sit still. There's always this buzzing motor inside everyone that just makes them move and makes them do things. Like no one can focus. I mean, actually focus. You can't rely on what mainstream society tells you in terms of job security. What's everyone telling you? Go into STEM, be hyper-specialized, be in a niche. What's going to happen when people my age are 40 where whole industries are dead and jobs are being cut? We're being told to specialize so that we become useless, so that we learn to work from home for this stupid company and order things on Amazon and get Uber Eats all the time, if it still exists, and channel all our frustrations through these puppet things that they give us. You can't rely on what's being told to you in any mainstream thing. Even news. News is not designed to inform you. News is designed to get you watching. And people in groups don't act in a rational way. People don't act in a rational way. But there's something about the group that distorts people. And so most things that are designed to talk to a large group of people are usually trying to trick you in ways. And even, look, I have no idea. Maybe I'm unconsciously trying to trick you. Who knows? But hey, all I know is that I'm a person who came from a kind of confused and rattled childhood. I never would have thought that I'd be here right now, but I am. And I'm trying to think about what are the things I did and how I could do it. And I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm a hell of a lot closer than where I was. So if there are people who are feeling like the best place for them is their room in front of their monitor, then I feel like I definitely have something to share with them. I don't trust people who talk about being altruistic and being nice and caring about others. A lot of these YouTubers talk about caring for people and they truly love their fans. I'm reluctant, and maybe I'm just too cynical, but right now at least, I feel like I want to spread information to help people, and whether that's out of a selfish motive, I don't know. It could be. But I've done things in the past year that when I was a teenager, I thought would never be the case. And I felt like life was going to be this nauseating stew of binge eating and feeling sorry for myself and feeling like nothing had any real, tangible, genuine meaning. There's troubling times ahead, and I felt like I don't want a career. What I want is to be independent, and I feel like the best way to do that is to build an audience. That's what I want to do, and who knows where this leads. This will be a thing where you're watching me develop as well. I don't know necessarily what videos I'll make. I think a focus of this channel will be about being a Renaissance person, someone who's well-rounded and takes into account their bodies, their minds, and the people around them. What is evolutionarily optimal for us and how we live. And so look, I'm really keen to get started. Stay tuned, because I'll have specific topics that will help you achieve that ideal, and we can have a discussion. I think that's the main point of this, is to have a conversation with each other, meaningful, deep conversation. I'm really keen to do this, and you'll do well. I believe in you, okay? See ya.